I'll always see girls that are like, oh, I don't wash my hair for 2 months, 3 months, or I'll just leave it braided up because I feel like leaving it alone, it will grow.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is you need to have a consistent regimen that you're doing all the time.
I think and you do exactly what you're saying. Like I always disclaimer: do what's best for you.
Right.
Okay. All right. Do what's best for you. And I paired that too as well. Like you know your hair. If you think going 6 months. I mean not 6 months, but
I mean, some people do that too, though.
Right.
They do that too. I've seen it. They be having the same braid down for like 6 months.
Right.
They just be plopping a different wig on top. But for real.
For real. But if that's your jam, that's your jam.
What's up, y'all? We are back again with another business spotlight, and today we have Kendria Strong, the founder of Rooted Revivall. We have her here with us today on the couch. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited.
We are.
Me too.
I'm super excited too.
Yeah. And I do want to say, because I feel like Black women in our hair, it's a big thing.
It is a love story.
Yes, it really is. And I feel like, growing up, we permed our hair. We did this, we did the big chop. And so I want to start from the beginning. What made you start Rooted Revivall?
Actually, I have been in the beauty industry for 15 years.
Okay. Oh,
wow.
And I've led product innovation, marketing, commercialization.
Oh, wow.
And around 37, I was a C-suite executive, and I kind of had that burnout,
Yeah.
I climbed the corporate ladder, did all the things, and I kind of want to just take a year back and really find myself again. And I was ready to walk away from beauty altogether. But after taking some time off and really reconnecting with my passion, I realized that there's a lot of opportunity for products that really focus on breakage and specifically tightly textured hair. A lot of times we talk about all texture, moisture is really the buzzword now, but the structure of our hair is very different. And I think it was an opportunity for us to really, really focus on what causes breakage and how can we really fix that from the inside out. Myself, I was struggling with iron deficiency. So my strand was very fragile, very weak. It broke very often, and a lot of medications cause that. So I really wanted something that goes beyond moisture, that we can really feel like we're doing something good and treating our hair from the inside out.
I'm so glad you said that, because I deal with that iron deficiency. That's why I'm bald-headed. Okay, that makes sense now. So talk about your products and like what you have that focuses on breakage and things like that.
So we have our cuticle mending peptide shampoo.
Okay.
And we started with the cuticle. The hair strand itself has 3 layers. The outer layer is the cuticle. That's really where you start to see the main difference in textured hair and where porosity lives. So you'll hear a lot of people say high porosity, low porosity, which really just means, how close the cuticle scales lay on top of each other, kind of like a roof tile. If it has more gaps in it, you probably have high porosity. If it's very compacted, you have a low porosity. And the thing about high porosity hair is the moisture comes in, but it also escapes very easily, right? And so our product really focuses on that cuticle layer. You apply the product, it mends and fills in those gaps, and then also help with detangling and intensively strengthen it with peptides, which is really a building block of hair already. And so it goes in with plant-based peptides to strengthen the hair, add an extra protective layer onto the hair to help reinforce the strand and minimize the breakage. And we're clinically proven to minimize breakage by 60%.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
We've done all the tests. We tested all the people. So we had a testing group of 60 women, and we were able to get the claim of being reducing breakage by 60% after your first wash and actually making the hair stronger and more resistant to help you go through your wash day.
Okay, that's great. I really wanted to ask you, because having high porosity hair is normal when you have like tighter coiled hair, correct?
Yes and no. So I would say when you have tighter coiled hair, it really doesn't that really is not a determinant of the process.
Okay.
Right? So someone can have tightly coiled hair, and that's really just, how often the hair bends. And every time it bends is an opportunity for breakage, but the actual porosity deals with the cuticle.
Okay.
And what we do know is Afro-descendant hair has typically a higher porosity point. So I would say your porosity is linked to the type of treatments you do to your hair. So if you do a lot of chemical treatments, whether it's color or chemical straightening, heat can add and increase the damage to the cuticle layer and add to the porosity. But Afro-descendant hair is just naturally higher in porosity. Most of the time it has less cuticle scales, which is nothing wrong with that, but we do want to understand that, using a product that say all texture, that's great, and when you're using things for moisture, that's great, but we know if we're knowing that our strand is actually a little bit more fragile, we want to make sure that we're using those bioactives like peptides, proteins, vitamins that can actually put the nutrients back into the hair.
Okay. And so what was your process like when you were formulating all of your products? Like, is everything all natural?
So yeah, we're a plant-based. So we use plant-based actives and bioactives. So I definitely love at-home remedy. I'm a girl from the South, so I love an aloe. Grandma get that little aloe and a little castor oil, on the scalp. I love that. Yes. But I like to say that we're clinical holistic.
Okay.
And so the process for me is looking for ingredients that are plant-based that goes beyond some of our topical treatments. And so what I typically do is write a product brief. I work with biochemists and say, hey, I want something that can really treat the cuticle level. What do we have? And then we'll say, okay, peptides. Peptides are smaller than protein. They're actually the building block of protein. And so that's what proteins get their strengths from, right? And so we'll talk about, okay, what type of plant-derived peptides exist and that has a high affinity with hair. And that's what bioactive means. It means that it's biologically active with whatever host that is given to. And in this case, it's hair. And so we're trying to find plant-based, bioactive ingredients that can really restore the hair. And that's typically the process. I identify typically the problem because most of the time, when you have a problem, you're not like, what ingredient can I put on my hair? You're just like, I need to solve this problem, right? And so it's really working with chemists, myself. We're at the table. We're discussing everything that we can do, what can really penetrate the hair, then taking that to the salon, the test salon area, testing the product, going to the clinical study once we feel like we have a good product. That can take roughly 8 months of clinical studying to make sure that it's reducing breakage. If you have a claim of growth, if you have a claim of, and I'm big on claims. Everything is not claim tested, but if I tell you it's going to work, I need it to work. And so that process along, once we finish clinical testing and finally get to the commercialization stage where we're ready to put it in the bottle and do all the fun stuff, that process for me took a year and a half of testing, making sure we have the right products, making sure that it's, like you said, plant-derived, that is safe, non-toxic, and you can really feel good and safe about the products that you're putting in your hair.
Okay, period. They don't play with the testing process because a year and a half, that is a long time.
That is a long time. Our formulas are proprietary. And, in the beauty industry in general, owning your own formula is a big deal.
Right.
So going to, working with the chemist and saying, hey, this is what I want to do, of course they're going to first give you, all the formulas that already exist. And you say, no, I want to build one, from ground up. That process, if you're doing it safe and you're doing it well and you're not doing it at home in your kitchen, you say, I really want to go to a mass production, that process does take, a long time to get it right.
Right. So the argument I have seen online for years is half the people saying, oh, your hair is just genetics. It doesn't matter what products you use. Either you have hair that's going to grow and it's thick or not. And then the other half is like, no, if you do this to your hair, it'll get healthier. It'll grow longer. So what's the truth?
I think it's 50-50.
Okay.
Me personally. I think There is structural differences in all our hair. We can all say that. You know,
Right.
we have eyes. You know, we hit them with the
They know.
see.
They see
There we have eyes. There's a structural difference. But then there is still the maintenance of the hair, right? I think, you know, consistency plays a big deal as well. There are different ingredients that you can apply to actually help the hair. And then there's things that, you know, you're just genetically born with. If you have high porosity hair, you have low porosity hair, then that's just part of the hair structure. Once you identify the things that are fragile about your hair, what's strong about your hair, then you can come out with a customized regimen that really helps with the hair health. So I personally think it's 50-50.
Okay.
I think, to me, the biggest factor in hair care is consistency. You know, I'm a protective style girly myself. You know, sometimes on a good day, you know, a good month, I went 2 weeks before I washed my hair. You know,
That's what I was about to ask you.
yes. Sometimes I recommend, you know, when I got back on my game, I'll do like 2 to 4 weeks, never going more than a month.
Okay.
But, you know, sometimes, you know, you get a little lazy. That wash day get a little past due. It's been 6 weeks, you know, you're a little tired. You know what I mean? So I definitely think you need to be more consistent. I think consistency can really, and doing repetition, you know, having a good regimen, just like skincare. I think of it as the skinification of hair.
Okay.
You know, do you have a regimen for your skincare? Same thing. You know, you wouldn't just apply oils to your skin and assume that it will be okay. So you do want to have, you know, something that's structurally healthy. You want to have a good sealant, a good moisturizer. You want to have a good cleanser, and just have that consistent regimen. I think that, coupled with knowing your hair intimately, will help with overall hair health.
So could you touch a little bit more on that? Because I know, especially in the Black community, like, I'll always see girls that are like, oh, I don't wash my hair for 2 months, 3 months, or I'll just leave it braided up because I feel like leaving it alone, it will grow.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is you need to have a consistent regimen that you're doing all the time.
I think and you do exactly what you're saying. Like, I always, disclaimer, do what's best for you.
Right,
Okay? All right. Do what's best for you. And I paired that too as well. Like, you know your hair. If you think, you know, going 6 months, I mean, not 6 months, but
some people do that too, though.
Right.
They do that too. I've seen it. They be having the same braid down for like 6 months.
Right.
They just be plopping a different wig on top, but for real.
For real. But, you know, if that's your jam, that's your jam. Okay.
Right.
But I have seen, just through different studies, myself included, a healthy scalp gives you a healthy foundation. It's not necessarily always about the hair, it's the foundation. And so our product is a deep cleansing treatment to really make sure that you're clearing that buildup off of the scalp.
Okay.
Making sure that you are actually getting to the root of the hair and giving room for your hair to breathe, your scalp to breathe, for a healthy hair to come out of follicle. And I also say, I mean, I don't know many things in this world that can grow without water.
Right.
Okay, so at some point, I think even a plant or something, you know, I think you really want to get in that place of really treating your hair, and that's going to help with moisture retention as well. So I would say, you know, never go more than 6 weeks. If you're in a protective style, try to stay within a month. And if you're really good, be on that 2 weeks. You have tight textured hair. I have tightly textured hair. 2 weeks can be a little rough if you are not properly detangling the hair properly. You can cause more breakage. So I would say, as long as you're not going more than, you know, 4 to 6 weeks, you know, giving yourself time to actually maintain a regimen, I think that you're fine.
Okay.
I'm glad you said that, because that's me. I be feeling like I leave my hair braided up and I'm like, ooh, I know it's finna be long.
Yeah.
Then I take it out, it be breaking off.
But you know, the thing is that I learned over the past few years, a lot of the time women don't wash their hair while they still have the braids in. Like, you still should wash your hair while you have the braids in. You should still do protein treatment.
See, I be doing a little rinse off.
Yeah, no, you need to wash it. You gotta get in there.
You gotta get in there and then make sure that you're really drying it as well. You know what I mean? Because you don't have any mildew under there.
Right, and it be that buildup at the root is what be making people hair break off.
Baby, I put that water on and I goes to bed.
Yes, and you can use a shampoo. You can dilute it, you know, put it in a applicator bottle.
Okay.
Whatever your favorite product is. Of course, I'm gonna say use Rooted Revival, but I'm all about using what's best for you. Dilute your shampoo, put it in the applicator bottle. Go ahead and wash it while you're in your sew-ins, in your braids. Make sure you rinse it well and just, make sure you dry it. You don't want to have mildew.
Now, see,
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
I want to know, what is your hair routine? Like you said, we have a skincare routine.
Yes.
What is yours? Because I'm looking at your hair.
Yes.
It's gorgeous.
Yes.
So what do you do? Like, it's a Sunday and you're doing your hair
I'm
routine.
doing my
What
hair,
does yours
yes.
look like?
So I really try to start with the deep cleansing treatment. I start with our peptide mending, cuticle mending peptide shampoo. Our product is a detangler as well.
Okay.
So I go in on dry or mist damped hair, and I apply the product and I detangle first.
Okay.
And so I first actually start detangling my hair prior to getting into the shower or wherever you're washing your hair, to make sure that you removed any knots and making sure you're not detangling on very wet hair, because that's when your hair is the most fragile and more prone to breakage.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And once I go through my shampoo routine, I rinse that out. Then I go in with the conditioner. And sometimes I do a double. So if I have a lot of buildup and I'm wearing a lot of gels, I'll do 2 washes. Once I finish shampooing, I'll go into with the conditioner. I like to use a conditioner that has a less heavy that can actually absorb into the hair. I try to leave it on from 10 to 15 minutes. A lot of times people try to leave it on overnight and things like that. You feel like it's doing more conditioning, but honestly, it's absorbed typically at the most 30 minutes. So, you don't necessarily have to go overnight or an hour, but if you feel good, you can do that too.
I used to do that all the time. I'm so glad that you said that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
I
learning
used to
a lot.
I was doing something. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna
go to
this
sleep
overnight
with that grocery bag.
But a lot of times, like I said, your hair is most fragile when it's wet, right? And so a lot of times you think that it may be doing more harm than good, because the hair can actually get too much moisture within it, right? And then cause a little bit more breakage, especially when you're going to detangle. So I try to get a conditioner that's a little bit more lightweight, that can be absorbed into the hair, trying to find something that does have bioactives, whether it's a vitamin or some type of peptide treatment to actually be absorbed into the hair. And then I move in, it depends if I'm gonna do a blowout. I'll go in with the light leave-in, and then I'll go in with the heat protectant to blow it out. And then, I go straight down into my braid down after that. So I try to keep my hair and scalp as clean as possible. If I do like a twist out or something of that nature, I try to make sure that and I'm using a heavy butter, and a sealant or an oil or something of that nature. I try to make sure that I do the proper routine, but I'm going back to wash my hair. That's when I'll wash my hair within like 2 weeks or so, because those butters and those oils drip down to the scalp and they cause a lot of buildup.
So you were talking about the importance of the different conditioners that you use and leaving them on for a certain period of time. So I want to really talk about the new conditioner that you have coming out for Black Friday.
I do. So like I said, it takes like 2 years for me to get a good treatment, something that's working. So we finally finished, and we beta launched that shampoo in July. We were doing well. And the conditioner is following in right behind it. Our conditioner as well, it is made with what we call cationic conditioning. That's a fancy word for saying that it actually smooths the cuticle down, absorbs quickly into the hair, and it's gonna really make the slip and the softness of your hair improved, as well as the smoothness of the strand. Absorb quickly and it washes off quickly, because we're busy women, right? We don't have all day. So I wanted something that's gonna give me all the impact of the 30 minutes, but with less time. So I'm excited about launching the conditioner on Black Friday, and we'll have a wonderful Black Friday sale. You buy 2 shampoos to get a conditioner for free. I'm gonna let you test it out, because I'm passionate about. Well, Erica say I'm passionate about my shit.
Okay.
Give it to you.
Yes.
And so I'm very excited.
So let me clarify what you said, because I'm taking notes. We're not supposed to detangle our hair when it's soaking wet, because I detangle in the shower now.
I prefer not to, and I would say that's when your hair is the most fragile. If you wait till your hair is soaking wet, you're probably going to have a lot more breakage.
Okay.
If you do it in a damped state, or a lot of people would do it, we'll say use a pre-shampoo to do it. Our product acts as a pre-shampoo. So essentially, you apply the product, you detangle the hair, then you add water, it transforms into a lather.
Okay.
And then you rinse it out. So you get a 2-for-1 with the product.
Got you.
Yeah.
And when we're using the Revival, how many times do we need, will we see some results? Because I need some results today. I'm finna go home and wash my hair right now.
Girl.
It's breaking off as we speak. So like if somebody is using this product like and they have serious breakage, how long do they start seeing some results?
Actually, you get 60% less breakage after your first use. Because it is it like I say, is a porosity filler, right?
Okay.
And cuticle mender. So what it's doing is immediately strengthening and adding that to the hair to reinforce the strand and make it more resilient as you are going through your process.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And so over 50 women that we did clinical studies, we saw the 60% less breakage after first use. With continuous use, that's when I see the best benefit. Like I said, I suffer with iron deficiency and my hair was breaking and very brittle, and I was able to attain length. I like to say we don't make a growth plan. We can't, do anything about that.
Right.
But we can help you keep the hair that you grow.
Yeah.
I would say over, a 6-month period, you can really see a difference with the hair with continuous use and that consistency that I'm talking about.
Okay, I like that.
Yes.
So what would you say is the biggest misconception that you hear all the time about textured hair and hair breakage?
I think the biggest misconception is that it's strong and very resilient. A lot of people say, I got that strong hair.
Yeah.
But the truth is that it's actually very fragile.
Yeah.
Because every bend, if you ever have very, very curly hair, or curly hair in general, every time it bends is a weak spot, right? And opportunity for it to break structurally. And then also the porosity of the hair makes it very fragile. And I think if we take that into account, the way we detangle, the way we do our styles, how much tension we apply to our hair, we really change how we approach the styling of textured hair and really change the health outcome of our hair in general. I would say, think of it as being more fragile than being strong, coarse, and resilient.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like people say that all the time. Like a lot of black women, black people in general, we always like, oh, our hair is so strong. But like you said, I learned that years ago too, that it's actually the weakest hair. Like coily hair and curly hair is the weakest type of hair to have.
You ain't got. I know my shit weak. Now let me ask this for my lighter colored sisters that do watch. Is this for other?
Yes. It is. And I do want to say that because porosity, of course, you can have a natural high porosity, but like I said, with chemical treatments, it can actually increase and cause a higher or a damaged porosity in the hair. So every time you use color, every time you use, a chemical straightener, using a lot of heat, you start to see the hair break down, it becomes weak, it starts breaking. Anyone can use the product.
Okay.
If you feel that you have damaged or breakage-prone hair, you feel like your strand is a little bit more fragile, it is great for that. Of course, I started where breakage begins, typically in higher porosity, and because of that, it led me to tighter textures. But of course, as you move through your process, your porosity will increase over time. It can become more damaged. And anyone that feels that their hair is fragile or they feel like it needs a little bit more strengthening is a great product for it.
Okay, I like that because my best friend from high school, Lindsay, she colors her hair so much, her shit be breaking off too. I'm gonna send her a bottle. So let people know where they can find Rooted Revivall, and let the poor crew know how we can tap in early for that conditioner.
Yes. So you can find us at rootedrevivall with 2Ls.com. And you can also please follow me on Instagram and all the social media platforms. Like I said, we just launched in July, even though I've been at this for 2 years. So I need the following, y'all. And it's the same, Rooted Revivall, Revival with 2 Ls. And then you can tap in. If you go to our website, we'll have our early sign-up list where you can sign up and we'll text you on Black Friday to get early access to the deal.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. And I feel like I have to say this. My girl, she is ripping the brand because I just noticed. I'm like, you matching the bottle.
Yes.
I was like, okay,
I love it.
put it
do
together.
too, yes, and it looks so good.
It does.
You
And I'm a moody color girly, so I love the packaging because I'm not gonna lie. I'm that girl that when I go shopping, I look at packaging first.
Me too.
So it's like something can have a great product, but it's not packaged as a bullshit product, but they got it packaged prettier, and I'm gonna grab that one. I would really grab this. Like if I'm walking through
Me
an
too.
Ulta or Sephora, I would
Yes.
definitely, it would catch my eye.
Yes, well, thank you so much. It's a little different because we don't have a pump or a dispenser, but like I said, we pour it in because you're pre-detangling first.
And I can add
So
that
what
water
made-
and shake it.
So what made you want to
get
go
to
with
the
that
bottom.
design instead of like the typical pump or dispenser?
Well, me personally, and most people when they use a pump, after a while you just throw that away anyways, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
I was like, nah, I'm gonna get away from that.
Yes.
The dispenser, because you're pre-detangling first, you want to pour it in. You want to use a lot of product to actually detangle the hair. So it's actually an easier application to do so. Many people prefer a pump, so we are considering maybe going to a tube next year. But it was originally designed to mimic more of a vitamin bottle to make the consumer think more of nutrients, vitality. And really to set us apart and trying to find packaging that's common but also very different in the hair care space. And that's how we kind of got to that, and trying to use a logo prominent on the front where it's recognized, and putting the actual name of the product on the back. Just some visual cues to know that, okay, this is different.
Yes.
This is not my typical, just so the consumer can see something different and think something different.
I like it. I
Me
love that. And I
too.
feel like maybe instead of the tube, maybe you know how some people they'll put like the pump on the side.
Yes.
So it could still be like this, but then you just have the pump on the
Yes,
side.
I
It's
was
like an
thinking that.
extra if people want to put it on there, then they can. But
I actually was thinking about that because I've been challenged on that. Everybody's like, you need to go to the, well, not the consumers, but you know, my team.
yeah.
But I was like, this is what I originally did. So I have been thinking about just putting the pump on the side for everyone.
Yeah,
I like it
because that way you could keep the aesthetic that you want to go with. Because it's your brand, it's your
Yes.
company. But then also give the people who like,
What they
oh no,
want.
I need a
Yes.
pump, put it on the side.
Because that's what I say. I like to add that water at the end and shake it up. And let me just give you your flowers, being a Black woman in the beauty industry, and taking the time and thinking about us who have tighter, curlier hair, and thinking about us and giving us products for us. So thank you so much. We appreciate y'all.
And I always trust a Black woman when it comes to Black hair.
Especially when they got nice hair.
Exactly.
If you came
That
on here
too.
bald headed, I would have been like, hold on, now. Hold on.
No, hair is laid.
Hair is the tea. So thank you so much for coming and joining us today. Y'all make sure y'all check out Rooted Revival. We'll put the link in the box, and y'all make sure y'all go get y'all some shampoo.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.